Imagine discovering that your home, your safe haven, is haunted by a restless spirit. My name is Mariska, and this is my family's chilling story of unexplained events, mysterious apparitions, and a desperate struggle against a demonic force. Stay tuned as I take you through the spine-tingling nights that turned our lives upside down. I was at the sink brushing my teeth when the bathroom door suddenly opened. What's this now? I thought to myself. I'm not someone who easily gets scared by paranormal things. These things can't harm me, so why should I be afraid of them? I always said. The strange occurrences began about 3 weeks ago. My name is Mariska, and this is my story. I have a family consisting of 2 children and my husband Jimmy. We are both working parents and are fortunate that my mother can watch the children after school. My eldest son, Juan, is 15 years old, and the youngest, Nathan, is 6. When I come home from work, I pick them up from my mother's and bring them home. Jimmy is usually home around 5 p.m. One day, when the children and I arrived home, the eldest opened the interior door from the garage and went inside with the little one. The clothes I had washed that morning were ready to be hung. The washing machine is strategically placed in the garage, making it easier for me to hang clothes on the lines in the garage, which is spacious enough. I hung the laundry right away. When I walked back inside, I saw clear, muddy footprints from a shoe. I called the boys and asked who thought it was a good idea to walk through the house with muddy shoes. "Mom, look at our shoes. No mud at all. Plus, it hasn't rained," said the eldest. I checked the soles of the shoes and saw they were indeed dry. I quickly looked at Jimmy's shoes on the rack, but they were all clean too. In the meantime, the boys had gone to freshen up, and I grabbed a mop to clean the floor. When I was done, I started preparing lunch. It naturally seemed strange, and I tried to make sense of it, but I couldn't stop thinking that someone had entered the house just before we came in. I checked all the window grills and saw no signs of forced entry. When Jimmy got home, I told him what I had seen, and he responded that it must have been one of the boys. It was clear he didn't want to entertain any paranormal ideas, so I let it go. Dinner was ready, and we sat down to eat. Around midnight, I heard Nathan crying. Suddenly, I heard knocking on our bedroom door. It was Juan. "Mom, can you tell Nathan to go to sleep? He's saying weird things," Juan said from the other side of the door. Jimmy, I whispered, trying to wake him up. My husband is a deep sleeper, and it was always a task to wake him. "Juan, I'm coming." I could have been angry, as this was not something I was used to. I went into the room and asked what was going on. A man was standing by the door watching, but I thought it was Dad, he said, crying. I reassured him it was just a scary dream, but he kept insisting he had seen someone standing at the door. Juan had crawled back into his bed while I tried to calm Nathan. "I'll close your door, then that dream won't come back, okay?" I told him. If I'm honest, I believed him. And if a ghost or whatever wants to come mess with someone, they can try me, but not my children. When Nathan had fallen back asleep, I turned off the light and closed the door behind me. In the hallway, I stood still for a while, looking towards the living room, and then towards the bathroom door. "If you scare my son again, you'll see what happens," I said out loud. Just as I was about to place my hand on the bedroom door handle, I heard the sound of the boys' room door handle. It opened. I immediately went back into their room, pulled out the spare mattress from under Nathan's bed, and lay on it. Thinking the pest could read or hear my thoughts, I cursed it silently and told it to take its mischief elsewhere. Just when I was about to fall asleep, I heard a whisper from under the bed next to me. I turned my head and glared under the dark bed with the angriest look I could muster. That's exactly how I fell asleep. The following days, nothing noteworthy happened. At least, that's what I thought. Looking back now as I write this, there were things so subtle that you really began to believe in your own clumsiness or forgetfulness. Jimmy always complained that he couldn't find his car keys, even though he always hung them on the nails next to the fridge. Sometimes he found them on the bed or in the bathroom on the rack where we keep our toothbrushes. Sometimes the knives that should be in the knife block were just in the sink, as if they had been used and needed washing. It often caused arguments because we eventually started taking it out on each other. It had really become too much. Now we come back to the part I mentioned at the beginning. I was brushing my teeth and happened to glance at the doorknob in the mirror. If someone is in the bathroom and the round doorknob is pressed, the door can't be opened from the outside unless you have a key. I had it locked and was brushing my teeth when the doorknob suddenly turned on its own, popped out, and the door opened. I stood still with the toothbrush still in my mouth, staring at the door in the mirror. It immediately dawned on me that if the doorknob popped out of the lock position, it must mean the door had been unlocked from the inside. The entity had been with me in the bathroom all along. I screamed in anger and slammed the door shut. This nonsense has been enough. It's enough. You torment us. Will you tire someone's head out? Leave me alone, I said out loud in the room. I couldn't take it anymore. I rinsed my mouth, grabbed my bag, took out my bottle of holy water from the church, and went to both my sons and my husband, rubbing the water on their faces, necks, arms, and legs. My husband joked that I looked like a real voodoo priest. I started in the boys' room, making crosses on the windows, closet doors, and walls above their beds. When I was done, I went to our room. The door slammed shut in front of me. "Jimmy, Jimmy, come help me," I called out loudly to him. As he came running, I drew a cross with the holy water on the door. Jimmy tried with all his might to open the door, but it seemed locked from the inside. "Break it open, Jim. Kick it open," I screamed. I wanted to get into the room to teach that entity a lesson, because it had made me really angry. Suddenly, we heard loud footsteps running through the room, as if someone felt caught and was trying to find a way out of the locked room. I don't know what came over me, but I started smearing the entire door with holy water while screaming. When I touched the doorknob, the lock popped open and the door could be opened. Like a wild woman, so I was told, I ran through the room, drenching everything with holy water. At one point, we heard the closet doors slam shut. It seemed like something was trying to hide in the closet, holding the doors shut from the inside. "Come out of my closet! Come out of my closet!" I yelled at the door. The boys had meanwhile come into the room, standing behind their father. "Come out of my closet, you bastard!" I screamed one last time, and then the closet opened. The clothes hanging on the hanger had been pushed all the way to the back of the closet, and a black, dark, thick mass was pressing itself further into the closet. "What are you? And what do you want with us, you bastard?" I said to the entity. Suddenly, a hazy face appeared, and I couldn't tell if it had eyes or even a mouth. Then we all saw and heard it. The face formed a mouth and eyes, and the ghost began to speak in a gurgling manner. But we couldn't understand anything, as it seemed like it was trying to express itself through various sounds. It didn't sound scary at all. It sounded rather sad. Then we heard the loud words, "Help me, they're holding me." I could clearly see another face behind the man. It had red eyes and looked like it was melting. It suddenly grabbed the man and placed its long finger over his mouth so he couldn't speak. I don't know what it did to my emotions, but at some point, I felt deep pity for that thing. Out of nowhere, I started praying. I had my eyes closed when suddenly my husband and children heard me calling, "Mariska, Maris, Mom, Mom, it's coming." I heard the boys scream while their father started calling my name louder. When I opened my eyes, all the clothes from the closet were on the floor in front of me. It felt really peaceful. "Where did it go?" I asked the others. "I think it's gone, but it made all the clothes fall out of the closet," said my husband. "It was gone." What turns out, we found out that much further down the street, someone had died a few weeks ago. A certain Mr. Hank, whom we didn't know at all. I suppose it was him who had come into our house. He tried to free himself from a demonic grip that had trapped him. I was told by a few acquaintances that it is indeed possible for them to seek help at houses that show spiritual energy as a beacon of light. He did this under the yoke of a demon that still had him in its grip. I found it quite cool of myself to find the courage to stand up to a troublesome spirit.